like, oh, you're the most beautiful girl in the world. Be sincere. Something like, I love your shirt, the color looks good on you. Have we done this? Some people are not talking. Remember we're talking about self-love. It is the person who can love themselves that can easily love another person. Do we agree? When you envy other people or you're jealous of other people, it shows that there's something wrong with your operating system. There's no self-love. So now when you look at that person again and say something nice with a smile on your face, alright. I need to take a Folagbade and do you have the slides? Okay. Is it going to show you? Show you first. So we can move fast together. I was speaking on the efficacy of self-love and how it affects human relationships. And I just want to talk to you about self-love and how to rise into the true design you were created to function in. Because this will help you towards yourself and other people while you're building relationships. Media, I'm already on the third page now. Very quick introduction of myself. I'm a family life coach and I teach and empower singles and married people with godly and practical strategies for building a kingdom relationship and marriage and all of that. You can read through it, right? There's no time for that. So I'm going to be speaking about what self-love is. We'll look into some codes that can trigger self-love, signs you might lack self-love, why you need self-love, and few tips to just help you to cultivate self-love, because I know our speakers will do justice to the topics very well. Let's start with this quote. It says the hardest challenge is to be yourself in a world where everyone is trying to make you to be somebody else. Do we agree? It's very difficult to be authentic in this world, especially when we have social media. There was a time where there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, and there was no TikTok. Teenagers were able to grow at a pace. Now, a 14-year-old is trying to buy a Range Rover. Right? Now, we have people who, in the name of wanting to create a video that can go viral, will take a coffee to the market. They are inside the coffee, and so they will take it to the market and all of a sudden drop it and come out suddenly. What's going to happen when that happens? Everybody will run, right? Or someone will go into the market and behave like a mad person, just so that the reels can just get to 1 million views. Today, everybody wants to blow. Nobody wants to go through the process. But if you blow suddenly, you also do what? You fade suddenly. So while you may be very confused about all the old social media stuff, I'm here to let you know that for you to fulfill God's purpose for your life, you must understand self-love, you must understand how much God loves you, and you must also understand your original design. Alright? So what is self-love? Self-love is not all about me, because other people don't matter. No. It's just valuing yourself and treating yourself with care, kindness, and respect. It's really just recognizing your self-worth, even when nobody else sees it. It's being compassionate towards yourself. Some of us are very good at showing up for people that we don't even remember to show up for ourselves. Some of us have done so well in our lives that we don't even pat ourselves. Can you pat yourself and say, well done? When last did you tell yourself, well done? Are you waiting till you buy a car before you tell yourself, well done? Some of us, we work diligently, but because you are not yet good, you don't think you've achieved so much. So every time you are looking at other people who have been invited to this place, to that place, and you feel down, you feel overwhelmed, you feel inadequate, as though you don't exist. But that's not how it should be. If you don't have self-love, you will make the wrong decisions in your life. Do we understand? to experience self-love. Self-awareness gives you the capacity to learn from your mistakes as well as your successes. Do you agree that your mistakes are one of the best ways to learn about things in life? Do you know that? But you don't always have to wait till you make a mistake. You can also learn from other people's mistakes. But what we usually do is when we make a mistake, we use that as an opportunity to just stay stagnant and stuck. And then you begin to define yourself and say all sorts of negative things to yourself. But if you don't learn from your mistakes, you keep repeating that mistake over and over and over and over again. So let's understand trauma. I feel like for you to step into self-love, you must understand first that there's something called trauma. And you know, today it is a very big word, mental health, trauma, right? Many of us went through traumatic experiences while growing up that we actually do not even know that it's trauma again. I'll give you an example. I think in 2017 or 2016, I can't remember, I held my first conference. And I invited the speakers, they were going to talk about how to heal from their past experiences. And this lady was talking about how she was molested. And while she was explaining the whole process, in my mind, I felt like, what's so special about this? You know why? I didn't even realize I was molested. I thought it was normal. How many of you know that there are things that happen to you while growing up that is actually trauma? But to you are taking it as normal. Your father used to beat you with they'll put blade on your body first, then they'll put pepper and then put skin on it. And it's called what? Discipline, right? But that's trauma. That leads to a lot of traumatic experiences for you. Do you understand? So I'm going to ask you some questions. While you were growing up, were your parents available in your life? And when I say available, I don't just mean that. I'm also talking about maybe not being present, always going to work. Because in the process of that, you might find yourself in the houses of neighbors who will tamper with you. So that's the first thing. And we call that neglect, abandonment. The second question is, did you experience early independence? And I need you to answer this question within yourself. Early independence is you going out to hustle from the age of 12, 13, 14. It's called helping my parents, right? You don't know what it's called? But a 12, 14-year-old should not be out there selling or working. Did you receive compliments while you were growing up? Or you were like me? I never knew if I was beautiful or not. I never heard it until when I was in the SS2 and they were doing competition of who's the most beautiful girl in the class. And they started to argue between myself and someone. I looked at the back and I looked at them like, I don't think you understand what you're saying. So I went back home and I took a picture of myself and I showed it to my dad and I said, Daddy, am I beautiful? He said, oh, what is that? You're a very beautiful girl now. I said, well, why did you tell me? Because it's not this I am beautiful, you are beautiful that makes a lot of guys get into ladies. Right? As simple as these things are, if you did not grow up hearing positive affirmations, you will find it difficult to receive compliments. So let's use this test. How many of you, when they tell you things like, oh, you're looking so good, you can even say, it's even my friend that gave me a shirt. Is that the response? Because she doesn't even know how to say thank you. Why? Because she didn't even receive it a lot while growing up. So you think they're actually scamming you. You think everybody's lying when they give you a positive compliment. Did you experience criticism, abuse, bullying, comparison while you were growing up? Did you experience rejection while growing up? Are you currently scared of vulnerability, intimacy, accountability? Did you grow up in an affectionate home or a traditional home? How many of you had traditional parents? Let's see. Few of us. You know what the traditional, some of us are doing side talks, side talks. Don't do side talks, I want you to listen. These are things that people pay for therapy for, right? I have therapy sessions daily while you were growing up so that you can go back and do a work of yourself. If you had traditional parents, you probably were, daddy just provides money, mommy just puts the food, you've never seen them kissing before, you've never seen them doing romantic gestures. As simple as that looks like, what that does is, some people sit in counseling session, they don't know how to be romantic with their partners. You just keep hearing, he's not romantic, he doesn't know how to touch me. And when you troubleshoot it, this person never saw romance while growing up. Forget all these movies you're watching, K-drama. When the real thing begins in marriage, that's when you will know who you are. Were you able to express yourself while growing up, or were you suppressed? When you're talking and they tell you, shut up, when I'm talking, you don't talk. So even when you have so many things to say, you can't even say a word. When you become suppressed while growing up, it makes you to feel like your opinion is not relevant. So you could even be in a gathering this way and they're asking a question and you find you want to answer, though you have the answer. Because you're thinking, what do I have to say? Would they laugh at me? Let's continue. I saw a quote by Daniel Goleman, who is the father of emotional intelligence. And it says that if your emotional abilities aren't in hand, if you don't have self-awareness, if you're not able to manage your distressing emotions, if you can't have empathy or have effective relationships, then no matter how smart you are not going to get very far. Do you know some of us meet our destiny helpers and we disconnect from them? You say I'm shy. They say people some of you now to stand up and meet another person, you sit where you are. Whereas that person you want to go and meet is going to introduce you to the next business. True or false? So let's look at signs that you probably do not love yourself like you should. And when I say, do you love yourself? I know you always say, I love myself. But let's be sincere. Are you really loving yourself? Or if you say, do you love God? What would you say? You love God, right? Yes, you cannot sacrifice things for Him. Yes, you sin every day, I think you understand, but you say you love Him. So let's look at some of those things. The first one is negative self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? What do you find yourself saying to yourself? And for you to understand the self-talk, I want you to think about the thoughts that goes through your mind on a daily basis. Every single day, as human being thinks over 3,000 thoughts. What are you thinking about? Do you catch your thoughts? I didn't watch that place this morning. I must do that way. What's wrong with you? Your boss is stupid. That's all the thoughts that are going through your mind. If I ask you to come out now, spend 5 minutes, you're like, what do you call it? Like when you're trying to, where's our diction coach? Diction coach. She's not here. So that means you're not listening to me. What's the word when you want to praise a king? No, it's not apologize. Apologize. That's the word. If I ask you to do it for the next 5 minutes for yourself, can you do it? Can you? There's no time. You have tried it. You don't come out and say, I'm beautiful, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. I am. Do you spend time to actually think positive thoughts for yourself? If you find yourself always criticizing yourself, always blaming yourself because you made a mistake, that's a negative self-talk. You're always pleasing people. Some of us, we can't say no to people. And see, everything I'm saying to you was my life. So I'm not here to teach you theory. I used to be that girl that cannot say no. Every time I want to please a person, because I'm thinking of what the person is thinking about me, I will try to do something that will make the person to like me. That's what some of us are doing. The thought is, you have difficulty setting boundaries because you're afraid that you lose the person. Why do you go on to date a person that you know will be abusive to you? Because you don't know how to say no. It was you a gift. You cannot say I don't want. Right? Some of us start dating very early because someone said to you, why are you acting like a child? Aren't your mates dating by now? We are editing. Some of us are looking at me. You didn't idiot. You didn't start dating very early. I started dating at 14. Just wasting my time. Looking for love. Maybe I should see a bit of that. You see, while I was growing up, I was that person who, I'm the first boy and I'm the only girl. So you see, every first one, and then they carry suffer the most, right? Your parents are just learning about parenting. So all the trial and error is on you. So my mom felt like, as a girl child, for me not to become spoiled, she had to be very hard on me. So every single day I must get beaten for something. Even if it's, I forgot to bring the clothes inside, I forgot to carry something outside, I forgot to not wash the plate, oh the plate fell down. Every day I must get beaten. So I got to the point where I would go inside the room and I would sit down and think to myself, this cannot be my parents. This cannot be my mom. Those days I would hear that people fainted. There was one era where people would just be fainting. So I'm like, why can't I faint? So sometimes I would go to the kitchen, I would just fall down and be there for some minutes. Maybe someone will come and I'll be like, oh sorry, I will be there and I'll just like and then sometimes I'll take the knife and try to see what it would look like to press myself. Or maybe just run out and not come back home again. Because I got tired of the constant beating, criticism, and everything. So I disconnected. And what that did for me was, I couldn't connect with my mom. Because at that time, my mom was very hard and all of that. My dad was always busy in his work, so he doesn't come home every time. So who am I going to look at? You know, I expect not to date at age 14. I took time. Maybe I was started at 12, right? I just needed someone to tell me that I was good enough. That I was deserving of love. And that's how I started to date very early. You see, by the time they will want my mom, because I reported my mom to God so much that God had to prophesy through somebody to want my mom. That stop beating this girl. I'm warning you. If you don't stop it, I will take her out of your hands. When you get that kind of instruction, what do? You sit up tight, right? Because you don't want to lose your child. But at that time, I disconnected. I just looking at them in the house. I was gone emotionally. I got married before the Lord dealt with that aspect of my life. I had to forgive my mom. Because even though my mom wasn't beating me anymore, I wasn't a daughter anymore. When God wanted to show me Pepe, when God wanted to catch me and say, this girl, I have something for you to do. It just made the relationship I idolized so much. This guy was my world, my everything. In my mind, he was so married. When this guy would break up, no fight, no fight. He just started disconnecting. Before you know it, he left me. Oh my God. It took 1 year to recover. I became slim. But let me tell you the truth, that was where I took my purpose journey seriously. Over time, I was always moving from one relationship to another relationship. You know why? Because I couldn't be on my own. When you don't love yourself, you will keep choosing people you should not choose. Because they are keeping you company. When you are created for more. So I don't want to go too much into how to cultivate self-love. Like, I feel like that's the topic for one of our speakers. But I will start by saying this in the next 5 minutes. Can you learn how to prioritize being by yourself and just evaluating yourself and documenting your journey and your emotions? Like when you get back home tonight, sit down and ask yourself, what have I been through that has made me who I am today? Why am I going from this pattern to another pattern? Why am I beating the same kinds of people? Why am I choosing the same kinds of friends? Do you understand? What do I feel on a daily basis? Do I feel insecure? Or am I confident in myself? Do I feel inadequate? Or am I able to confront things? Write those things down. Process your emotions. Why do you feel that way? Maybe your dad was always saying to you, you are such a stupid child. I remember you're going to love yourself, you must do a work on yourself. You must identify the negative thoughts in your mind and choose to reframe them into positive thoughts. When you are able to do this, and all of the things I'm written here that I cannot begin to talk about, you will find yourself on a different journey. And it's okay to be isolated sometimes. When you begin that journey into personal growth, some of your friends will not be able to relate with you anymore. It's okay. You need to be isolated first to go on an authentic journey before you start to come back to the right set of people. Do you agree with me? If you're always in the midst of people who speak down on you, or who remind you that there's nothing special about your life, that's when you will stay. For the next 5 years, you continue to stay in that relationship, choosing the wrong set of people. And so I wrote an affirmation. Before we say it, I should also mention that you should practice reading books. Make it a practice that in a year, I will read 3 books. You see, I didn't mention 12 books. So people that target is 52 books in a year, 1 week per week. There's no need. Start with 3 books in a year. A book on self-development, a book on identity, on emotional intelligence, on spirituality. Those areas of your life that there are gaps. Look for books on those areas and study them. You will not be the same in the next 1 year. Do we agree? Now I want you to get up with me as we recite this affirmation so that we can allow other speakers to take the stage. And I want you to say this with boldness and believe it to be true. Even if you feel like, oh, I was raped at a young age, oh, I was this at a young age, oh, my father left me. You are not defined by your experiences. Do you understand? Is this thinking inside you? I'm not just making a presentation to you. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Created in the image of God. I embrace my unique strength and acknowledge my weaknesses as opportunities for growth and learning. I love myself as God loves me. With grace, compassion, and acceptance, I set healthy boundaries, honoring my self-worth, and nurturing healthy relationships, allowing love and kindness to flow freely. I trust that God has a purpose for me, and with each decision I make, I seek to align my actions with His will, knowing His wisdom and light will guide me. I release negative self-talk, and I speak to myself with love and encouragement. I deserve joy, peace, and fulfillment, and I cultivate gratitude for the blessings in my life. I walk confidently, knowing that I'm enough, and I embrace each day as a new opportunity to grow in faith and love, shining my light in the world. So the next time someone compliments you, what would you say? You say thank you. When you have an opportunity to speak next time, what would you do? You raise up your hand and you speak up. You know why? Because you are good enough and you are loved by